can each of you say your name just so that listeners can match a voice with a name?
Yep, we can do that. My name is Ryan with the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast.
This is Jake. I guess
This
I'm
is
also
Mac.
from that same podcast.
I thought we were doing just our normal intro here. Fine. Screw you.
Hey, our newest YouTube video, we actually have nameplates on it now, so that'll be
is
kind of
true.
nice. That'll be helpful.
Ooh, nice. Speaking of your videos, I thoroughly enjoyed the John Gunning interview.
Wait, we
Absolutely loved it.
Yes, but we didn't get everyone's name.
Did we miss Mac?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
I thought he said his
no.
name.
I just said my normal intro, but this is Mac of the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast. There you go.
There we go. Now we got everybody.
And who
Sorry
are you guys?
about that, Mac.
Yes, but who are you?
Yes.
I am Leslie.
And I am Laurie of Sumo
Sumo
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. But there are many things I loved about your John Gunning interview, but the best part, and I think I already typed it into YouTube, was that John Gunning gave me the name of some sumo porn that I immediately looked up. You can find it on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And buy it new or used.
I would opt for the new. My personal.
So I assume the
something you don't
entire
want used.
stock of that is heading down to Texas right now.
That's right. That's right. We're going to buy every episode.
Ryan, we did say that we needed to find a way to raise the rating from 1 gold star to at least 2. I can think of no better way. That was our promise on the episode.
I am happy to do an Amazon review.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what?
I'll give it 5 stars.
I know.
There
I
we
would
go.
have to honestly watch it though, and I would have to critique it, and
then we'll see where it goes.
And then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that is not a regulation, Uchari. I don't know what you think you're doing.
That is not how you tie a
is not
mawashi.
performed this way.
That is not how the doyo iri goes. It's a very sexy doyo iri.
I know. So
it's
let
been
me-
like
Expect
30
anything
seconds.
other than sumo porn to start this off.
This is exactly
Yes.
how we expected.
This is perfect.
well, I tell people all the time that Sumo Kaboom is kind of the Graham Norton of podcasts when it comes to sumo. The Graham
Do
Norton
y'all know
show.
who Graham Norton is?
How old do you think we are?
Okay, good. But you guys are very different from our, Graham Norton podcast. So why don't you describe what you do on Grand Sumo Breakdown?
Oh, good. I thought she was going to ask us to describe Graham Norton.
I know. I was like, oh shit, she called my bluff.
Yeah, so Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, our main thing that we're doing is we're reviewing each Basho that is happening. We do a nice long preview episode to talk about everything we think is going to be happening in the Basho and usually getting things laughably wrong. We do a check-in episode halfway through the tournament to see how everything's progressing and see what we think is going to be happening for the final week of the tournament. And then we do a recap episode at the end to talk about everything that we've seen, how things kind of line up historically, how our predictions went. We embarrassed somebody on the podcast who had the worst predictions and we punished them. The punishments can get interesting, to say the least. Your favorite, obviously, the sumo erotica.
Yes.
That we have done a few times.
Yeah.
And then in between the Bashos, we just do some random stuff. We've done some history episodes where we've talked about Rikishi of the past. We've done some game show episodes. We do episodes where we answer questions from fans. So just get a couple episodes out in between the tournaments just to kind of make that dead time a little more lively for us.
Yeah, and we follow up with whoever you guys have talked to recently and do a slightly lower quality interview with the
Yes, we go for the scraps, if you haven't noticed that.
the sloppy seconds of
Yes, we're the
podcast
sloppy
interviews.
seconds, guys.
No,
We get their
y'all
B2C
beat us.
game.
Well, y'all were on the scene before us.
Yes.
And I want to talk about our meet cute.
Oh.
We didn't really have one. But how we found each other. I mean, and I think we had started listening to you guys and we're like, there are these guys in the middle of like Iowa or something talking all about sumo. And I think in the very beginning I was like, it's like Laurie's like, do you want to do this? And we're like, I guess, like I love sumo, but like I, hadn't anticipated that here we would be a year and change more still doing it. But meeting other people all over the US that we have zero connection to whatsoever, that we found through the sumo world of just fandom. And so
you're like, wow, anybody can do this. Give it a shot.
And thus GSB was born.
No, you guys were very nice. You reached out to us
Yeah.
and welcomed us in
Yes.
and have been so just wonderful.
Yeah, and
since the
Sumo
beginning. We did
Mainichi
it.
also did the same thing. They were
Yeah.
like, "Welcome." There has been nothing but like it's been cool. We could be competitors, but we're not, because I like genuinely like you guys. I like Sumo
And you stay
Mainichi.
in your lane, so that helps.
Yes, exactly.
Well, wait, I want to know, how long have you guys been doing this?
So we just mentioned on our Aki preview episode that we recorded last night that this is the beginning of our 5th year of coverage. So we started
Right.
That's
Aki
amazing.
2017 tournament, and so now it's Aki 2021.
We
Yeah.
started watching in 2016 and then thought, we can do this. Anybody can do this.
One
All right,
year of
let's throw our hat in the
experience.
ring.
Clearly, we are the most qualified people to talk about this.
Clearly. And who won that first tournament you watched?
Haramafuji.
Haramafuji.
Garam Fuji.
Ah, you do remember. And then, okay, so you've been
I
doing
Don't
studied.
test me on my sumo knowledge. I will win every time.
If it's
Ryan is
pure,
an odd savant with that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Oh,
if it's
yeah?
rote memorization
Yes.
about sports trivia, that is Ryan's thing. Now,
That's
analysis, on the other hand, we shouldn't push him too hard.
Also true.
But
There's a reason I just pushed the conversation along and then let you guys do the answers.
Eh.
here are a whole bunch of facts I have no reason to remember. Can the other three of you guys talk about it for a little bit and have opinions?
Why, yes,
Well,
we
yes.
can.
Well, and you have since gone over to Japan to see it in
Mhm.
person, right?
Yes.
And so tell me about that. When did you guys do that?
That was back in 2019. And that was for the 8th day of the Nagoya Basho. We went for 2 weeks out in Japan and just thoroughly toured all over. We went to Tokyo. We went to Nagoya for the actual tournament. We went all over the place, or well, as many places as we could go and squeeze into 2 weeks, but had an
got,
absolute ball.
Yeah, here's our
Yes.
souvenir from the day that we actually were there.
Oh, look at that. Is that you with Casino Sato? Oh my
Yes,
that
goodness.
is
Nao Araiso Oyakata.
That's
It-
the pride and
Alright,
joy
then.
of our entire studio collection here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently, if you get there right when it opens, there's just these sumo legends walking around and you can take a picture with them. And so, yeah, it was fantastic. We also saw, I think it was Naruto.
Yep,
Oyakata,
Naruto Oyakata.
and we wisely stayed away from him. He did not look like
Like he was
No.
open for
Oh, he
taking
didn't-
Yeah.
pictures.
He was
didn't
not
look
open.
No, he saw us coming and was like, no.
Nothing.
But yeah, I mean, sumo, it happens all day long. In a tournament,
Yeah.
all the lower divisions, they start bright and early. Goes from like what, roughly 8 or 9 a.m. all the way to prime time. It's done by like 6-ish local. So like, 90% of people don't show up until we're well into it. But if you're nerds who traveled halfway across the world for this,
Yeah.
we were there like an hour early. So
It was great.
yeah, it was complete happenstance. Now Kisano Sato, friend of the show, no big deal. We know people, so
I
How'd y'all
wish
end
we,
up getting tickets? Because
We
it's
bought
not
them.
always. Did you buy them through the?
we bought them
Sumo.tv?
online. Yeah, it was some online service.
Mhm.
We knew plenty in advance that we wanted to go see a day of sumo. And so as soon as the tickets were available to be bought, we snatched them up for that day.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
there are plenty of sites. Well, maybe not plenty, but there are a number of places you can find them online. Honestly, it's been
It's been more than
years
a week
now.
ago, so I don't remember what it
Yeah.
It's not sports trivia. Like Ryan can remember how Meisei did in like Nagoya of 2017, but like
Oh
he
my
cannot
God.
remember for sure exactly how we got our tickets. But yeah, there's plenty of resources out there if you do know when you're going to Japan that you can look ahead.
They do, if you get your tickets through that same source, though, they're going to put you with all the other native English speakers. So be wary of that. If you want the full immersion, you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah, it's because like the
Yes.
company that buys bulk tickets, it was set up in such a way that the people who buy it online are generally not locals, and the people who are selling those online tickets are buying a bulk of tickets that are together. So
Right.
it didn't really occur to us ahead of time, but then we kind of got there and it's like, like the only people that are clearly out of their depth are all like right next to us. Yeah.
Yes.
It was
And we're all wearing our sumo shirts. We're all wearing all of our stuff. We're like, yes, this is great. And they're like, oh, sumo. So look at how big these guys are. And we're like,
amateurs.
what is this?
And don't you know all the sumo
Casuals.
wrestlers, like they look at that section of the seating and they're like, that's
oh.
the idiot section.
Those
Mhm.
are
Yep.
Right there.
Gaijin. Oh,
But it's
wow.
it's real nice on the day of though, because I mean we bought our tickets and we sat up there for probably like Juryo and Makuuchi, but
Yeah.
that's when everybody shows up. So you could sit as close as you want. Nobody's like checking your ticket for like the first 4 divisions. So we were just sitting up as close as we could get for quite a while. And like there were some people who knew that we were there that day and they're trying to find us on whatever service was streaming the sumo matches. And then so we made sure that we were sitting in view of the camera so everybody could see us.
You'd
Up
be
the
A
like,
few
"Hi,
glorious frames.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it. Well,
And-
we're
and we
hoping
actually
one
gotta
day we
see-
get to go. Yeah, what'd
Yeah.
you say?
We got to see Terano Fuji on his rise back up
Yes.
that day. He was
Wow.
wrestling either in Jonidan or Sandanme that day.
Wow.
That's
Which one are you guys
amazing.
hoping to hit?
Well, we have to wait for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
As soon as
whenever.
COVID goes away.
yeah.
the first one we can get to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
really, whenever they're like, you guys can come back, but I still feel like it's gonna be a while. But the first time we can get over there, we will make it happen.
Yeah.
I've got some old friends from when I worked over there. So like I obviously want to go see sumo, but I want to see my friends too that I haven't seen in 20 something odd years.
If
So
you have time for them, yeah.
if
Yeah,
I
well,
have
yeah.
With
time.
the
I
sumo
mean,
wrestling.
that's the whole thing.
Mhm.
You know, one of my friends, Don Don, is really funny because she thinks it's really hilarious, but also amazing that I am that interested in sumo. And like she thought the Konishiki interview that we did, she was like, I can't believe you talked to Koni-chan. And we were like, well, we just reached out, like 2 random girls in America. But like to her, that was like a really cool thing. So I'm hoping to meet up with her and some other friends. So we'll see. But as soon as
Awesome.
possible, that's the answer.
Yeah.
To be fair, we also think that's really cool. That
Yes.
You guys got to talk to Konishiki.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, okay, next set of table scraps, Kanishki. Let's write
Yes,
this
that's
down.
right. Get that on the list.
I got it.
Our latest plan that we're trying to hatch, is that what they say? Hatching a
Sure.
plan?
Sure.
Is
Okay.
whenever those sumo karaoke videos came out, we're very interested in singing sumo duets now with any wrestler that will have us.
That is true.
Oh.
If we can figure out how to make that happen, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah, so that may be part of our trip where we just like have to be like, can I meet up with you in a karaoke room and then can I sing with you? I don't
Yeah.
care what song it is.
Do you know anything
Do you
from
know-
Greece?
Yeah.
Can we sing that?
Gotta be able to
Ooh,
find
all right.
some song like New York, or something where they've got to know it. Or I will learn a Japanese song and
Let
do
It
my
Go. I hear Let It Go is very popular in Japan.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If I could sing Let It
Anything
Go.
to
It's
do with-
impossible to escape that anymore.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to
I
say, I
know.
thought we were done with Frozen, but it
But
just
no.
comes back.
I'd be interested if there was a service like Cameo over in Japan where you could just like pay them, here's 500 yen, sing a song for me, and then you can just sync up your own audio alongside of it and make it happen.
It would be awesome.
That would
Yeah.
be a dream come true.
I have a feeling if that was a thing that Rikshi were on, we'd know about it at this point and would
Also
have
true.
No.
abused the system so much that it no longer existed. So
Like-
Yes.
No
Brian, you
more-
need to be the change that you want to see in the world.
Okay, so what are your predictions for this Akiba show? What do you think is going to happen?
We already talked about that on our show.
Yeah.
so-
Oh, so you can't share?
Jake, be
Tune in.
nice.
there's like 2 full hours of us talking about
we don't really want to give away, we don't want to give it away for free. So
Right.
we need the
Right.
precious
Right.
downloads.
we need those downloads. Yeah, that's how we pay our rent.
Yeah.
No, we're pretty unanimous, right? Like at least on we were all pretty. If you have to pick a favorite, Terano Fuji is the clear favorite. I think this time around.
Yeah.
That's not to say that he's got it locked down by any means, but I think he's got it
But about 75 to 80% lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
certainly more than anybody. Second place is a very, very distant Who did we say? Maybe like Takakeisho,
Takakeisho.
Takayasu are kind of in the mix, but like,
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe a
Very
surprise
distant.
Ichinojo
Maybe an
Basho.
unknown.
He could jump up and
I
have
mean-
another crazy good Basho.
Yeah, we've had strange things happen from Maegashira 17. So
Yeah,
you
who knows?
never-
Chiona Kuni, it could be his
It
year.
could be Chionokuni. If he's just
I
healthy.
mean, Toku Shoryu's back down at M16 range.
I
Why
know.
not do it again?
I know,
I
right?
know. Well, we'll see. But we were kind of feeling the same. We're like, I mean, it's Ted Fuji's, Yokozuna debut. So I imagine he'll be pretty pumped.
Mhm.
But I do imagine everyone will come for him as a Yokozuna.
Oh,
You know, like,
Definitely.
they want to take him down. But yeah, I think Takakeisho, as long as his neck is okay, he says he's okay, but they're all okay.
Yeah.
I think he's got a good shot at giving him some good stiff competition. Shodai, I think, is in Shodai land. He's just gonna try to get his Kachikoshi.
They're
got
hitting
some
every single
interesting-
topic that we talked about here.
Well, yeah,
of course.
but we've got some interesting Shodai theories that
Yes.
I'm not gonna lower the quality of this podcast by bringing up here. But let's just say there's some interesting Shodai theories that we threw out there. But yeah, I think Takakeisho is a real good one to look out for because he is coming off that injury.
Yep.
But we kind of looked into how does he do coming off of these injuries ever since
Mhm.
he's become an Ozeki. And he's done it 3 times in the past and gotten double-digit wins each time he's come back from an injury. So things could be
Interesting.
looking pretty good for Takakeisho here. I think another thing we talked a lot about that we're really looking forward to is there's a lot of young guys in the top 3 Maegashira ranks.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we're really excited to see how will the group of Hoshoryu, Kiribayama, Koto no Waka, Wakatakakage, how will they all do facing the top rankers? Some
Yeah.
for the first time in their careers, some like Wakatakakage trying to get back to where he was.
Right.
Right, of course. And how do you think Hoshoryu is going to do in that M1 slot?
I didn't put a prediction to it, but I think it's gonna be 6 to 9 wins. I don't think he explodes one way or the other. My guess would be he's solid enough that he can take some wins. We've seen him beat Shodai twice already, so we know
Yeah.
he can beat an Ozeki. But this is just more pressure being up that high, knocking on the door of the Sanyaku ranks. We don't know how he'll deal with that yet. So there could be some nerves involved. So I think anywhere between 6 and 9. I don't think there's a double-digit number in his record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Hoshoryu in particular, I'm very hopeful for because he's had kind of like a slow and steady rise to this. We all kind of expected him to get here eventually. But for example, contrast him with Koto no Waka, who got like a huge boost from an unexpectedly good record. I
Mhm.
don't expect Koto no Waka to do very well just because that's going to be a massive step up for him. But Hoshoryu,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping
Well,
he's going to do well.
there's a
His
difference
track
between what
record.
there's a difference between what my brain expects and what my heart wants for sure
Okay,
on a lot of these
okay.
guys. But I think Hoshoryu, like I said, a lot of people have been expecting him to get here eventually, and I'm glad that he didn't just rocket right up to get completely annihilated by a massive step up in competition. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier today about him and his rise, where he doesn't seem to come in and like bust in and be like, I won in everything. He struggles some, but he comes back the next time and then he betters himself to like 2 or 3 spaces solidly above him. And I kind of think where he is right now, he may struggle. But I think if he gets bumped down, the next time we see him in that position, I think he's in this spot to stay. I think he has something about him that he takes away, he works on, and he does his homework, and then he comes back and he can stay there. And I think that kind of, matches what you said about a slow and steady rise. There's been no like huge jumps. It's kind of been, piece by piece.
And I'd agree with that because we've seen it in his style. We've seen his style change against his opponents. He's using more leg trips, more arm techniques, more belt. He comes back different every time. He's learning and getting better.
Yeah, he's definitely improved, I would say, his tachi over the past Basho or so. Definitely market improvement there. And he's still 22 years old. He's still not going to be as big as he's going to be at the peak of his career. So there's only up to go for Hoshoryu, I feel like, but probably not quite there yet where we can be like, oh yeah, he's going to be Ozeki in a year.
Right.
No.
Right. It'll probably take him a little bit longer.
He's 22. He could keep growing. He could be taller.
He's gonna have a
Wouldn't that be
growth
amazing?
spurt. Yeah, I'm sure his growth spurt's.
That's what
coming
we
around
were
the corner.
hoping for Taka Keisho when he was pushing Ozeki at 22 years old.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
arms could get longer. He's
They
only
might.
22. But
he grew
just hasn't
out,
happened.
not up.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
What about-
Hoshoryu's got some decent size to him. Like he's more of like
Yeah.
he's not like a Ishiura size or anything like that.
Mhm.
But Haruma Fuji has had a lot of success at about the same size, and I don't know. Hoshoryu and Haruma Fuji is a comparison I've made a couple times, I think. But like,
I didn't
Yeah,
realize they were the
nice.
same size.
I mean, roughly like on the
Approximately.
Like
thin end
5'10"?
of normal, I guess.
The
You know, I
end of
wouldn't
normal.
call the thin end of normal where he's only like
That
130
could be
kilos.
the name. That could be the name of our podcast.
The end of normal.
Yeah.
Okay, so thoughts on I have loved Kiribaiyama and I've wanted more from him. And like, he's Mongolian, so I do always think he's a little bit taller, but I like when he uses his legs a lot, like a lot of the Mongolians do with the leg trips. They go full into the leg trips. But I think for me, Kiribayama has also chipped away at it, but I feel like he's not quite as focused as Hoshoryu has been. What are your thoughts on Kiribayama being in this position? I mean, I do think he has improved for sure, and he's big and he's strong and he's got a lot of potential. But thoughts?
Yeah, he as far as size, he's kind of in that same boat there. One of the things we like to do when we see a new guy come up to the top division is look at his history of winning techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And Kiribayama, he was the spinner, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was the guy that would spin quite a bit and get a lot of wins and losses by rear techniques, where he was
Yeah.
either pushed out from the back or pushed others out from behind.
He had
The
something
weird
like
Shodai technique, the Tawara.
well,
Tawara
it was specifically
Yeah.
the spinning because he
At
had
the edge.
because I think he had like 5 times the normal rate of like rear push out wins or something like that, something ridiculous. And then like in his first couple tournaments, you'd see this all the time. Like his defense would be wild. It would be like,
it's
whatever,
like
let's just
magic.
roll the dice.
Yeah, magic
Yeah.
at the edge or something. We're like
Mhm.
he did not win this bout until like the last split second at the edge.
Yeah, and there's a reason that's uncommon because it doesn't necessarily work all that well for too long.
Unless you're
So-
Shodai. And then it just magically
Shodai
happens.
does not spin the way that Kiribayama used to spin like
Fair,
every
but-
other day.
But he is
Bounces.
Shodai
He
is a little bit of a
bounces.
cat on the Tawada. Like he
Oh, yeah.
does
Oh, for
have
sure.
definitely he's got some tricks.
He's a
at the
bobblehead
edge.
doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I in a roundabout way though, I was getting back to that I was agreeing with you because I think Kiribayama is getting like he's calming down in like the weird, crazy type of defense stuff. He's getting more into like a more of a long-term repeatable type of sumo.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, like
you're
his sumo's
definitely-
more straightforward.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I think he's put on weight, and I think he does a little bit better with more weight on him. But I know that he doesn't like to eat. Like he's had a really hard time to like get his weight up even further. So I'll be interested to see it. Me personally, I don't care what his weight is, but I do think he might do a little bit better higher up in the ranks if he is a little bit heavier. I mean, I feel like he's got longer arms and it would just, I feel like it would be more of an asset to him, but who knows?
Yeah.
Only he knows what his best fighting weight is. So unless he calls me, I'm just going to have to
What is my
Let it-
brand of sumo? What is it? I need your help.
listen, Kiribayama.
What
I'm
is my
taking
best
it in
weight?
to put on 10 or 15. I know.
So one of my big questions to you guys is how are you tracking these stats? Are you tracking them on your own or are you using the Sumo database? How are you doing that?
For winning techniques in particular, SumoDB, the Sumo database online is where we get like all of our raw data for sure. But one of the things it does is it lets you summarize every bout that a wrestler has ever had, sorted by the winning technique.
Mhm.
And I have an Excel sheet that I just copy it over and put in some formulas to compare that to what is normal. So
Wow.
yeah,
That
one.
is a lot of homework. You must have been very good at what class would that have been? Stats? Did you have stats in college or
Weirdly enough,
Excel spreadsheets or?
I don't think that was part of our curriculum.
Weirdly enough, yeah, I don't think any of us actually like studied statistics, but like, you know, the four of us guys all did like, you know, some engineering classes enough that we like we can still manipulate numbers when we got to, but no, we have a handful of different spreadsheet tracker type things like that we update when we need to if we think it's going to find something interesting for us.
And I've got the hard data in a notebook. Somebody's got to keep records somewhere, man.
We just let Mac write on his paper like somebody from the 1700s or something. Well,
Mac,
and
I remember you keep attendance.
Yes, I do. I do actually keep attendance.
Mac, they are already keeping that data somewhere. It is that SumoDB website. They don't need
let
your
him think that he's helping. Just let him.
Let me live in my fantasy.
Sorry, this man's been wearing a belt and tucking his t-shirt into it since he was like 15 years old. So
yes, your point.
It's tucked in right now.
I remember watching you do that in Austin when we were watching the U.S. sumo guys, and I was
wearing
like,
his shirt into his belt pants?
I didn't notice that actually.
Oh no, I was in my Hawaiian shirt in Austin.
That's right. Your wife made, which I was so jealous of because I was like, she's got some mad skills, and I love this print.
Yeah,
but
she's making another one.
Ooh.
Different print, different pattern.
Okay, we will go there next. But I remember watching you write down exactly who it was that was winning and what technique they were using. And it was all in a spiral bound notebook. I was very, very impressed because we were just
kicker for Austin or like any United States sumo, which we're doing our best to try and catch up on that whole community as well. Mm-hmm. There just isn't anything official. There isn't like a Sumo DB with stuff on it. There isn't like the best that we get is either stuff that we watch or if somebody keeps track of their own matches. You know, we've had a couple guys. Was that Kyle, the open weight champion that we talked to? We talked to him and he was like, oh yeah, I got all my results. And he sent us a list of every match that he'd done in any tournament and how he thought he did in it. And that was like,
that's awesome. I wish we could have that for all of our tournaments here.
But that's the thing. If somebody has you don't write it down, then
right.
And that's why I do it. That's what we're starting to build. We're starting to create that database.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Where's that going to live?
Probably on our blog for now until it finds another home.
Yeah.
And in my notebook, it will live in two places. Timeshare.
We call it a spreadsheet, but it's really just Mac with graph paper.
Well, you're not wrong.
Mac, you're going to change the world. You really are.
He's going to set us back 50 to 60 years.
And you're going to thank me for it.
I absolutely will not. The internet did not exist back then.
We're going back to a simpler time, Ryan.
Simpler, more work-heavy time. I could have everything at my fingertips in my phone, and you want to take that away from me.
Yes.
Ryan and his impressive work hard vocabulary make big words.
Make big words.
Well, okay, so we have got about 10 more minutes, if that's okay. We will not take up your whole evening. But we just wanted to give our listeners just a chance to hear you guys because you're so fun. And we've enjoyed hanging out with you guys when we saw you guys in Austin. And of course, we always want to run into you guys. But where are you guys going to be next? Are you guys going to be traveling around the country and kind of getting even more into the amateur scene here in the US? Or are you planning like us to go overseas and see some tournaments there? What are your plans for the future? That's a big question.
That's a big
question. Where do you see yourself in like 20 years?
Yeah.
John Gunning, I'm coming for you.
We were able to do some live commentary from Iowa here for the Florida Sumo Iron Belly tournament. That was a ton of fun. Me and Mac were able to do the whole play-by-play thing from our own studio here, and that was cool. Awesome. So we're hoping that catches on because like it's really expensive to travel.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you guys,
and it's a pain in the ass to travel too.
Also
it's
true.
Not like it's easy right now. So
I'm super jealous, and I love that you guys are in Texas because like anywhere you could still be like 500 miles away and still be in Texas, I suppose. But there are the Texas clubs that have there's a lot more going on down there than like, in the dead center of the Midwest. So
We are the sumo scene in the dead center of the
Yes.
Midwest, and we don't do sumo. So that tells you
Mhm.
about how many events we're going to be seeing locally.
but we're hoping to get more involved there as far as, and similar to you guys, we'd love to get back to Japan, but those plans are on hold. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you we found it a big challenge to do commentary for sumo. It was a whole new world, and
It was
we were
hard.
very
It is
unfamiliar
very
with.
hard.
Yes.
I loved it mainly because I did get to meet so many of the wrestlers here, and everyone has an interesting story and why they came to sumo. And it's awesome meeting other people who are totally in the sport, who know just as much about the sport as you do, and possibly so much more. That was the cool part about it. But yeah,
That's a
as far as
low
breaking
bar
it,
if you're comparing it to us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to
I was
know
like,
how
you
it was
guys-
for you guys.
You guys did fantastic, though. We
but
were
it is
sitting
so
there
hard
going,
to
"Holy
break it
crap, look at them. They're
down."
doing
No,
it. They're
honestly,
doing it, man."
No, for us, honestly, it was a lot of who's that guy?
I know.
Is that guy?
They need
Is
a
that
name
guy
tag.
this guy on Instagram?
Yeah.
You know, like we were constantly trying to put Instagram and Twitter feeds with the people we were seeing.
We just kept giving them nicknames. Oh, there's
let's attack.
and-
Look,
Lats and Tats is
Karinga.
Karinga, the guy who
Karinga,
hosted the
yes,
Iron Belly one.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
But I want to know what you guys learned and how it was for you when you were doing sumo commentary.
I think the key that I'm an over preparer when it comes to stuff like that. So like I like scoured everything I could on like tips for how to do like effective play-by-play commentary and stuff like that. And it all immediately went out the window, of course, when we're on camera.
We're like, what was
I
that?
was gonna say
How
I need
did
to
he-
sign up for your class
he
then.
won.
'cause
I
have
had
no
like
idea.
5 or 6 tabs of all the brackets. We had like pictures sent to us personally by some of the guys on the scene and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, okay, we got this. We actually have some stuff together. And I forgot to turn my microphone on at the
Yep.
beginning. Like,
That's something I would do, Jake. I do expect
and
more.
I expect you to do it when you get a chance to. So,
Oh, yeah,
Probably.
100%.
but no, we had a lot of fun. I think Mac, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, like the hardest part was definitely the stage fright. Once we were able to get a little more loosey goosey, and we'd been seeing the same guys a couple times so that we could keep track of who's who.
Yeah.
It became very similar to us hanging out doing our regular podcast and stuff like that. So
And one
something
of the
I definitely want to do again. Sorry, go ahead, Mac.
no, you're good. One of the things that helped me was actually trying to get in touch with some of the wrestlers before the tournament and learning as much as I could about them.
Yeah,
And
that's
with that, I
great.
was able to write out a whole bunch of notes, not in a notebook, on an actual screen that
The
we could actually
computer
reference as we were commentating. So we write a few notes here, a few notes there, previous records, previous histories of the tournaments they'd been to, what clubs they were associated with. That was the big one,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
reaching out via Twitter or Facebook, any other social media platform, and just saying, who are you?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
going to be at this tournament? Tell us, like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
club, what bracket, where are you going to be?
I'm not
And-
jealous of the one that you guys did because the tournament you guys were commentating had like 4 or 5 times as many people in it.
Yes.
So
Well, but it also had a whole bunch of drunk people behind us who were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, that's
I
true.
love this. This is so cool. I'm gonna watch it forever. No, that's awesome. We also said the same thing too. We were like watching all these people, and I think in the past there had been like not cheat sheets, but info sheets on each wrestler, and that was kind of one of our takeaways leaving. Was like, I really need a cheat sheet so I can know like where they come from and know more about them, because that's why we show up for the wrestlers. We're invested in their story, them as sumo wrestlers, not just sumo wrestling. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why we watch the pros. Like, I'm fully invested in Kaboom, who used to have a history in he has his degree in forestry. Did you know that?
Nope.
No.
Like weird things like that. Like, I'm invested in who they are as people. That's how I get on board with them. So
Yeah,
that was
and
one of the things I would like for our wrestlers here, is to know more about their backgrounds.
That's coming.
That's why everybody should listen to Sumo Kaboom and Sumo Mainichi and Grand Sumo Breakdown, because you guys, you know that Takayama has a degree in forestry, whereas Grand Sumo Breakdown knows that Yutakayama hits Maegashira 1 through 3, and then he drops every tournament till he's down in Juryo. Then he's going to rise back up till he's Maegashira 1 through 3. Then he's going to drop all the way down back to Juryo, and now he's on his way back up.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of everything about all the Rikishi from all three of the podcasts, and I think that's one of the reasons why we are all good friends with each other. We don't have like a competitive spirit with each other. We're all friends. We all do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit
Sumo
something different
Mainichi, for
everybody.
example, knows what a Yorikiri is. So
Wait, they
they're
do?
super helpful.
And they
Didn't they
also
tell us?
and they podcast every single day during the tournament and cover every
Yeah,
single
that's
match.
a marathon. I don't know
Yeah.
how they
Oh,
do it. I
that's
always feel like they
insane.
must
I don't
they
either.
must get smashed at the end of it because they deserve it after 15
Sake
days.
all around.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man. Hey, thank you guys so much for sitting down with us. We love hanging out with you and we love talking sumo. And you guys are such experts and in ways that we're not. And like you just said, like that's so much fun for us to know, like what Shodai's history is or what all this that you guys do that you specialize in. I said that.
I'm glad that was recorded because I would never have put us in that same category. I'm glad that's been captured now.
It wasn't eloquent in the way I said it though. I was like, did that come out right? I don't
No,
know.
it
what
came
I'm
perfectly,
saying.
perfectly understood.
Just more honest praise is always appreciated.
Yes.
Of course.
I do want to point out before we have to go that Grand Sumo Breakdown is not a 3-man team. We do have a 4th member.
Yes.
Right.
Fleric, unfortunately, you're missing the best of us. Fleric is not able to join us today. But yeah, we do have a 4-man crew over at Grand Sumo Breakdown, and Fleric is absolutely the best person in the world. So
Aw.
check out Grand Sumo Breakdown, if not just for Fleric.
We
Yes.
can say
Yes.
that because he's not here.
Yes.
And probably won't listen, but we'll
and
see.
for our
We'll see
social
if we can
media,
convince him.
for our listeners who don't know about you, I don't know how you don't know about Grand Sumo Breakdown, but how can they find you on the socials?
So Twitter, we are at G Sumo Breakdown, because I'm pretty sure Grand Sumo Breakdown is too long for a Twitter handle.
Yes, I
Yes.
think that's what it was.
YouTube
Honestly, just
channel,
search for us. There's not a ton of results, but yeah, we're on Instagram and Twitter mainly. YouTube. And we have a
our
blog. Yeah, the blog
Yep.
is grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com. Mac has been doing some write-ups, especially about American tournaments and stuff.
And if you
Sweet.
really want to get in contact with us, you can leave us a voicemail at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO. We will always listen and we will get back to you.
We
And
got
you can
2
also send
voicemails this week about garbage day pickup, and so
You had the most random crap happen.
Only the most critical news comes in
And
on that line.
yes.
I
You
guess.
can also
Jake and I needed to know, and our fans helped us out. So
Technology.
Yes.
yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you guys. You
Thank
are
you, guys.
amazing. Check out their podcast. And we will definitely be connecting up during this Basho and seeing what you guys are thinking. And we'll be on Twitter as well. So thank you guys. And,
Thank
you. Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
Basho.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
as well.
you.